Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. Bang. 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 The sounds of Elder Lu striking the dynasty bell kept coming from within. He wanted to break out of the bell, but the sounds were getting weaker and weaker. Inside the bell, the sound waves produced by the fist force were constantly spread and amplified by the surrounding bell walls, shaking back and forth. Even if Elder Lu was a martial honor, he could not withstand the baptism of the power of the sound waves. He howled in pain but soon learned his lesson. He stayed inside and did not dare to move. He was afraid that if he made even the slightest sound, the bell walls would expand infinitely and he would suffer. Below, Pingyi and Shangguan Yuan's mouths were also wide open in shock. Both of them were extremely shocked, but fortunately, they didn't do anything stupid to provoke this person. Zhang Linghua's face was as dark as water, and a faint elemental energy wave appeared around her body. He said word by word, "Take him down." The elders behind him stood up one after another, and even Yingrong couldn't help but step forward, ready to attack at any time. Meidong had long been completely stunned and unable to think. Interesting. Sect leader Zhang, you've been kicked into your lair, and your underlings and elders can't do anything. Do you want me to help you? Xiao Lin laughed and mocked. Even Li Fengyu fell silent. Although the Heavenly Scorpion sect and the Big Dipper sect had joined forces to deal with the external forces, they were only doing so under external circumstances. They were also fighting in the dark. After all, the two sects shared the same origin, and they were competing for a large number of resources. Therefore, they were happy to watch the show at this time. Zhang Linghua snorted coldly, and several powerful auras of martial venerables flew out from the viewing platform, targeting Yunxiao. There was no panic on Yunxiao's face. With a cold look, he said, "Since we've already caused trouble, let's start playing big. Let's do it." His words stunned everyone and confused them. On the other hand, Zhang Linghua's pupils contracted and her brows furrowed. A wave of spiritual power emerged around Yunxiao, and he disappeared from where he was in an instant. In the next moment, his face was close to Zhang Linghua's, almost touching the tip of his nose. Zhang Linghua sucked in a cold breath, but she still reached out unhurriedly, trying to capture Yunxiao alive. When Yunxiao teleported, he had sensed the mental fluctuations around him and was mentally prepared. So, although he was shocked and angry, he was well prepared. Ha! You're indeed a half-step martial emperor. Yunxiao could sense that the power of the grab was not pure emperor chi of the ninth heaven. He chuckled and snapped his fingers, and a ball of flame burst out of his fingertips and burned toward his palm. Zhang Linghua's pupils contracted. He felt a great sense of danger from that small cluster of flames. He hurriedly changed his claws into a fist, and a powerful force shook off his fist in an attempt to repel everything around him. At the same time, he took a step forward and struck out with his left palm without mercy. He no longer wanted to capture Yunxiao alive, and he planned to kill him directly. Yunxiao chuckled as he teleported and disappeared from where he was. With a sneer, Zhang Linghua leaped into the air and grabbed at Yunxiao's right side. The next moment, Yunxiao's body appeared there, his face filled with great horror. No matter how you jump around, you're still an ant under this lord. Bang. Zhang Linghua's punch left a huge hole in Yunxiao's body. It was a terrible sight. Arg. Don't. Meidong let out a miserable cry. Her face was completely pale and she was stunned. Yunxiao, who had a big hole in his chest, had a vicious look on his face as he said angrily, "You're so damn hateful." Gradually, his body began to twist in the air, turning into a ray of light and dissipating. How is that possible? Zhang Linghua's body trembled. He felt that the figure just now was real. It couldn't be an illusion. Just imagine how heaven-defying it must be to be able to trap a half-step martial emperor. It wasn't just him. Beside him, Li Fengyu and Gao Lin's expressions also changed drastically. Because they didn't realize that the figure just now was actually an illusion. At this moment, everyone was completely stunned. Meidong recovered from her despair and stood there in a daze. It was as if she couldn't get used to the huge fluctuation in her emotions in a short time. The elders who had flown out of the grandstand stopped in the air in shock. Without even thinking about saving Elder Lu, who was suppressed under the dynasty bell, they flew back to the grandstand one after another, intending to punish Yunxiao. It's here. Yunxiao's true body immediately appeared behind Zhang Linghua, and the heavenly eye between his brows opened. A stream of flame power mixed with the primordial astral wind shot out like a lightning bolt, pointing straight at Zhang Linghua's body. He was still not at ease after using this move. He condensed the earth of breath in his hand and slapped down with his palm, suppressing the space in an area to prevent the other party from escaping with extraordinary means. It wasn't an illusion that had been destroyed, but his starlight soul body. Not to mention his current soul power, even an ordinary 9th-tier alchemist would not be able to cast an illusion on a martial supreme. Hence, he gave up his starlight soul body. It was only rank 2 anyway, so it wasn't a pity. Swish. The attack formed by the flames and the astral wind directly hit Zhang Linghua's body. His eyes were filled with shock and despair. Originally, he had sensed the extreme danger of the attack and wanted to avoid it, but he found that the space was suppressed so that he couldn't move. In the blink of an eye, he didn't have time to break the spatial seal. He could only watch as the 2 elements directly shot into his body and crazily destroyed it. Damn it! Zhang Linghua let out a series of furious screams. Finally, he threw out a punch and shook off the locked space. While his body was still collapsing, he threw a palm at Yunxiao. There was nothing fancy about it. It was just an angry palm strike of a half-step martial emperor, and it was not inferior to a 1-star martial emperor's. Yunxiao first teleported, then condensed a starlight soul body as a substitute. At this moment, he even used the power of the 3 elements directly, which had long been exhausted of his soul power. His body suddenly released a powerful moonlight, and his body swelled up at that moment. The demonic sky armor also flew out from between his eyebrows and transformed into his body. Bang! The palm instantly extinguished the moonlight and slammed into the devil sky armor. The originally black devil light flickered non-stop, but it was also dispersed by the force of the palm and shook the body of the armor. In an instant, Yunxiao felt a powerful force shake into his body through the armor, and even his powerful physical defense collapsed at that moment. He felt an indescribable pain in his internal organs, and he vomited a mouthful of blood as he was sent flying. He felt that his body was in a very bad state. Not only was his opponent's powerful origin power destroying his body, but what was even more unbelievable was that when Zhang Linghua's palm force penetrated the armor, it actually shook the demonic chi inside the demonic sky armor into his body. At this moment, the 2 forces were destroying his body, especially the demonic chi that could corrode everything. Even his supreme tyrant body couldn't withstand it and began to collapse one by one. Zhang Linghua's situation was not any better than his. After the 2 elemental powers rushed into his body, their destructive power was even greater than the demonic chi. Both of them were genuine 10th-tier powers, and even a martial emperor could not withstand them. His body began to break down before Yunxiao's, with blood oozing out of his 7 orifices and his skin cracking. Sect Master! Everyone cried out in surprise. The major forces were even more dumbfounded. They never thought that the hero of a region, the Big Dipper sect leader Zhang Linghua, who was a half-step martial emperor, would die in the hands of a martial grandmaster youth so inexplicably. This was a fact that they had seen with their own eyes, and it was hard for everyone to accept. Sect Master! Elder Lu and Tandijuan, who was behind him, rushed up immediately. Elder Lu held Zhang Linghua, his eyes full of concern. Zhang Linghua's expression was extremely unsightly. He was covered in blood, and his condition was rapidly deteriorating. He raised his trembling hand, wanting to take out a pill from his ring, but he was actually powerless. He looked at Elder Lu for help. "Let me help you," Elder Lu said indifferently. "Why do you have to suffer so much?" Bang! A muffled sound was heard. Zhang Linghua was completely dumbfounded. His eyes widened as she looked at Elder Lu in disbelief. Then, he lowered her head and saw that the other party's fist had directly broken through his chest and jolted out of his back. Ah! Sect Master! Everyone cried out in alarm. All of a sudden, the scene was filled with shock. They were all stunned, and their brains simply couldn't adapt. Don't come over. Elder Lu pulled out his arm and clutched Zhang Linghua's neck. His sharp gaze swept across all the elders and he said coldly, I'll kill anyone who takes a step closer. The rest of the elders all stopped in their tracks, not daring to move. Although Zhang Linghua looked like she was beyond saving, he still didn't dare to act rashly, in case he sped up his death. Elder Lu, why are you doing this? He Yingrong said angrily. Li Fengyu, Gao Lin, and the others were all stunned. They retreated to the side in silence and watched coldly. They all knew that something big was going to happen to the Big Dipper sect today. You. Zhang Linghua's voice trembled, but he couldn't complete a sentence. Cold sweat trickled down his face. Why? Humph, let me say it. Tan Dijuan walked out from behind Elder Lu, attracting everyone's attention. His transformation simulation technique was immediately dispelled, and he returned to his previous goatee appearance, revealing his true appearance. You're Tan Dijuan. He Yingrong exclaimed. She immediately recognized Tan Dijuan's identity. Her eyes were filled with disbelief, and she stood there in a daze. Tan Dijuan glanced at her and said, He Yingrong, how many years has it been since we last met? You've also become an elder of the Big Dipper sect. It's just that you didn't expect that I'm still alive, right? The dazed look on He Yingrong's face gradually melted away, and she said with a bitter expression, So it's you, I understand. But so many years have passed, why can't you just let go? This will be a great disaster for the Big Dipper sect. Disaster? Tan Dijuan's eyes flashed with anger as he shouted, What Zhang Linghua did in the past was a disaster, wasn't it? I'm just cleaning up the sect on behalf of my master and taking back what belongs to me. He glared at Zhang Linghua, a long-lost sense of pleasure appearing on his face. He laughed and said, Zhang Linghua, you didn't expect this, did you? I didn't expect you to be so useless that you would die in the hands of a martial arts grandmaster child. He chuckled and turned to look at Yunxiao, who was meditating on the dynasty bell and suppressing his injuries. A deep fear and a vicious gleam appeared in his eyes. Even if it were him, he would not be able to escape from the few moves Yunxiao had just used. Besides, the boy was still young, and he was too dangerous. He could not be left alive. However, if he were to make a move now, it would chill everyone's hearts. After all, Yunxiao's behavior just now was obvious to all, and he was their greatest hero. If they killed him now, no one would dare to work for them with all their heart and soul in the future. Tan Dijuan immediately made a decision in his heart. He temporarily suppressed the matter of taking Yunxiao's life and decided to send someone or take care of him in person after the matter was over. Looking at his current injuries, it would take at least a year to recover. Elder Yu, capture all of them. Tan Dijuan looked at He Yingrong and the two elders behind her, and they were all shocked. He Yingrong was even more shocked. Elder Yu, you've betrayed him too? You guys, so you've been planning this all along. A look of shame flashed across Elder Yu's face, but he replied honestly, Zhang Linghua was the one who betrayed his master and killed his ancestors. Today is just karma. He Yingrong was so angry that her entire body was trembling. She said angrily, Who else has betrayed us? Tan Dijuan laughed proudly and said, Other than you, Elder Sima, Elder Feng, and Elder Lu who is suppressed under the big bell, the other 6 elders are all righteous people and are not willing to collude with evil. He Yingrong, if you still have any thoughts of right and wrong, then follow me. He Yingrong's expression changed drastically. She didn't expect it to tilt so much. She looked at the elders one by one. Everyone looked at her coldly. Only Elder Sima, who was wrapped in a black robe, could not see his expression clearly. At this moment, Elder Feng, who had not said a single word the entire time and had even opened his eyes, finally moved. Tan Dijuan's eyes showed a trace of fear, and he said, Elder Feng, you should be clear about what happened back then. Zhang Linghua was worse than a pig or a dog, and now he's getting what he deserves. I hope that Elder Feng will look at the big picture and not help the evildoers. The general trend is irreversible. Elder Feng was also a half-step martial emperor. If he were to resist, it would indeed be a big problem. Among all the elders, only Elder Yu and himself could compete with him. If they could convince him verbally without losing a single soldier, that would be the best plan. Elder Feng didn't seem to hear Tiandijuan's words. He slowly stood up from his seat and looked at everyone with a desolate expression. He sighed, I didn't expect that I've lost my heart to this extent. Have I not done well enough all these years to disappoint you all? What? What do you mean by that? His words struck everyone's heart like a bolt of lightning. Everyone's expression changed drastically as they looked over in shock. At this time, Zhang Linghua, who was captured by Elder Lu, suddenly revealed a bitter smile. His entire appearance began to change, immediately turning into another person. His old appearance was revealed, and it was actually Elder Feng. At the same time, Elder Feng's appearance changed. Under everyone's astonished gazes, he revealed Zhang Linghua's appearance. His eyes were like lightning as he stared at Earth Monarch Tan. Junior brother, the imitation transformation technique is our sect's ultimate technique. If you can do it, so can I. This shocking change caused everyone's face to pale and a huge wave to set off in their hearts. Especially the 6 traitorous elders, each of their faces turned pale. They didn't expect the situation to suddenly turn for the worse, and the one to die in Zhang Linghua's place was actually Elder Feng. Meanwhile, Zhang Linghua was completely unscathed. Li Fengyu and the others were also dumbfounded by this change. Each and every one of them cursed in their hearts. Damn old fox, he's too cunning. This time, there's really a good show to watch. Zhang Linghua's appearance was like a huge rock pressing down on everyone's heart. In an instant, the situation that they thought was settled was suddenly reversed, and everyone's palms were sweating. You're so cunning, you actually let someone else die for you. Tiandijuan glared at him and said through gritted teeth, you're still as despicable and shameless as ever. Junior brother, let Elder Feng go, Zhang Linghua sighed. Under his gaze, Elder Lu trembled in fear and hurriedly threw the half-dead Elder Feng over. After Zhang Linghua took it, she checked his body and her expression changed. What a powerful elemental power. These were meant to deal with you, Tiandijuan said coldly, it's a pity that Elder Feng became your scapegoat. Elder Feng let out a bitter laugh and immediately coughed out a large amount of blood. He stuttered, no. Everyone felt a wave of sadness in their hearts, especially the other elders. They all felt a sense of sympathy for the death of their kind. Tiandijuan, is this what you want to see? Yingrong stomped her feet and said angrily. What else could an internal fight do besides depleting the strength of the Big Dipper sect? What can you get in return? It was Zhang Linghua who killed him. What does it have to do with me? Tiandijuan said angrily. He looked at Zhang Linghua coldly and said, so what if you found a scapegoat? My plan hasn't changed at all, it's just that I'm using it against you instead of Elder Feng. All of you, attack. We can't let Zhang Linghua escape. The other 6 elders immediately moved, forming a formation and surrounding Zhang Linghua. Each of them had a serious expression on their faces. After all, the other party was a half-step martial emperor. He could kill them like ants. Among all of them, the only ones who could fight against them were Elder Yu and Earth Monarch Tan. The remaining few people could only be held back for a while. Yingrong stood there in shock, not knowing what to do for a moment. She couldn't do anything to Zhang Linghua, but she also couldn't help him kill these 6 fellow sect members who had been with him all day. Elder Sima and Luo Xianran, who was behind him, were also standing still. Both of them were in black robes, and their expressions could not be seen. The battle on the viewing platform started as soon as it started, and the people from the other forces retreated one after another, watching from a distance. Zhang Linghua's gaze swept across the 6 of them one by one, and he sighed. You're all the sect's pillars. If you all die, the Big Dipper sect's overall strength will drop and the entire sect will be in danger. If the 6 of you have any intention of repenting and stand on my side in time, I will not pursue today's matter. The 6 people's expressions changed slightly, and they looked at each other nervously. They were afraid that someone would join them at the last minute, but they were also afraid that they would lose the opportunity if they joined too late. All of a sudden, cold sweat broke out on their foreheads, and they did not know what to do. Tiandijuan's face darkened. He snorted and said, "Everyone, don't you know what kind of person Zhang Linghua is? Do you all believe what he said? Look at Elder Feng, he's already killed him. Do you think you'll have a good end if you follow him?" Only then did the 6 people's eyes reveal a determined look, no longer hesitating. Today's matter was indeed irrefutable. Even if Zhang Linghua said that he would not pursue the matter, who knew what he was thinking? There was still a long time in the future, enough time to slowly take care of them. Since he had already boarded the pirate ship, there was only one path left. There was no turning back. Zhang Linghua sighed and looked at the dead Elder Feng beside her. Elder Feng volunteered to take my place. I received news before the sect competition that something big was about to happen, but I didn't expect it to be you, junior brother. After Elder Feng found out about it, he took the initiative to replace me in order to put the overall situation first. He let me observe from the side and control the situation. Elder Feng didn't die for me, he died for the sect. Nonsense. Tiandijuan said angrily, "You're good at quibbling. If you're afraid of death, I've already killed you and nothing will happen. The Big Dipper sect will still be the Big Dipper sect. Do you think that the Big Dipper sect can't do without you? I did do something wrong back then, but I'm no longer the same person I was before," Zhang Linghua said. "If I could go back to the past, I would rather give up the position of sect master and cultivate in a carefree manner. Junior brother, do you know how heavy my burden is? The open and hidden fights between the local forces, as well as the scum of the Thunderwind Chamber of Commerce, who are spying on us from the outside, ready to devour and destroy us at any time, have been making me feel comfortable all these years, except for cultivation." In the distance, Gao Lin's expression changed slightly, and he snorted coldly. Li Fengyu, on the other hand, revealed a sympathetic expression. He seemed to be able to feel Zhang Linghua's situation very well. Being the head of a sect was not as glorious as everyone thought. The immense pressure behind it was not something ordinary people could bear. "Junior brother, I'll give you the sect leader's position now, what do you think?" Zhang Linghua sighed. Tiandijuan's expression changed, and he sneered, "Zhang Linghua, don't use that trick. Even if you give me the sect master's position, you won't be able to escape death today. I must take revenge for my master." "No, you can't kill me," Zhang Linghua shook her head and sighed. "What a joke." Tiandijuan laughed out loud and said, "Why can't I kill you? You don't have to die just because you don't want to? So many years have passed, and you're still this cowardly nature." "It's not that I'm afraid of death, but the Big Dipper sect needs me," Zhang Linghua said indifferently. "If there's no martial emperor in charge, the Big Dipper sect will most likely be in a precarious situation." "What?" Tiandijuan's heart was shaken, and his face changed drastically. "What did you just say? You're not afraid of a martial emperor?" Zhang Linghua nodded and said, "That's right. I've already broken through the threshold a few days ago and truly entered the 9 heavens realm." When this news came out, everyone was shocked.